Hello everybody and welcome back. So we're going to continue to make this fire look really awesome. So what we're going to do here, so we added a noise, well, the time, so we made it look like this, but we will remove the time from this part and have it like this, and we're going to add the noise, well, the time offset down here. And I'm going to show you how that looks. And now you see we get a little different feeling here. So this is super nice, and but what actually happens here is that we are adding this float, because this is a float and this is a vector 2, so it's actually moving in 2 ways. And that's correct. It should move in 2 ways, but you see here it's kind of a diagonal pattern here, and that's because we move offsetting the UVs the same amount on both X like this, and I. So what we need to do, we need to make another simple noise too, because we need different offset on each axis. So in order to do that, we need to have, you see here, if you see it, let's see, you can see that these 2 noises give the same noise result. So even if we made a vector 2 and plug it in together like this, in here, now we have a vector 2, but you see it still give this weird pattern still. That's because it actually do exactly the same noise in these 2. So we want to sample the noise in a different area. So on the top one, we're just going to add some offset here. So I'm going to do 11. It's not really important where, but now you see here we have this really nice flame thing going on. So we don't have the same noise. So let's say if we just did like this again, you see we have this weird shape here. So that's why we need 2 noise for each channel. So, and also here I actually see that we could do like this. So we see here we added time only in the I axis, and just to make a shortcut, if we plug it in here instead, you see it's exactly the same result. So we don't really need to have the add node here, so we can actually just remove it. Then this is the same, little bit cleaner and the same setup. So here we have this setup, so that's nice. And the next thing we're going to do, we're going to make the shape for this. And before we start with the shape, I'm just going to make sure that here in the remap, because this is how much we're going to offset it. And I want to control this. And the way I'm going to control this, I want the parameter so we can do it. So I'm going to add it here, and actually we have the colors. So I'm actually going to make a category and put the colors in the category, first one. So that's nice. And the fire speed, I'm actually going to have that in its own category. And we're also going to here make noise offset amplitude. So noise offset amplitude going to be a slider between 0 and 1, and I'm going to start with 0.1 as a default value, and we're going to make a vector 2 of this. So if we do a vector 2, so I put the positive noise offset in the I, and then I'm just going to do a negate. So it will be negative in the X. So now you see here, now it's only offsetting it positively, but we actually want to make sure we can do it positively and negatively. And that will actually yield a better result as well. So now you see it looks even more like a fire-ish stuff. So that's nice. And now we kind of have this noise. So if we remove this part, we see this is the noise. And only by doing this offset like this. And we could actually offset this tiling also. But I'm going to leave that up to you if you want to do even more offset on the UVs. Because actually this one, if this were moving too, I think it would be even better. So let's work on the shape for this. And there are different ways of doing this. A lot of possibilities. So we can start with the tiling and offset. And we're going to make a split on this one. Because we're going to work on only the green axis. And if we do 1 minus, we get this from 1 to 0. So if we plug in this one to the alpha channel, you see we're kind of getting a fade like this. So this is great. What's even more cool, if we do an add here and place it before, and if we just do the same offset, now you see we're starting to get this kind of super nice fading up here. So we're actually using this this noise for not only the pattern itself, but also the mask. So by having this here to adding this one, now we can start to work on this mask. And if we do like this, if we add on this one, and put it here. If we work on this one, you see now we can kind of work on it, how high it's going to be like this. So what we can do now is we do an parameter for this one. So we can just call it float. We're going to do fire height amplitude. So we're going to have two parts. We're going to have this shape where we can just add the height. So to make it easy for the user, the fire height, this one, going to be a slider between 0 and 1. So let's start with 0.5. And so the fire height is always going to be between 0 and 1. And we want to add it here. So when it's 0.5, we want it to be here maybe. Well, actually, let's start like this. This is more logic. So when it's 0, we want it to be kind of not visible. So we just need to try it out where it is. So this is like negative 1.1, then we don't have anything. And then when we do 1, well, no, here, we have it full opaque. So that means if we have the amplitude to 0.2 maybe. What's going on? Oh, this one is the one I need to work on. 0.2. So the noise offset amp should be higher, of course. So now you see we're starting to have this really nice effect. So actually fire height amp, I'm going to put it into a category 2. So now if we have this one and slide that one, see we can control it. super nice. And now when we have that, I'm actually going to do a remap on this. And if we do a remap here, and put it into the alpha. So here we have, it doesn't do any difference, but what I want to do, I want to make a more sharper edge. So if I just lower this one here, see we get this more opaque and then fade off more hard. So this is artistically, you can choose how much you want that. And you can do the other way around too, like this. So you can work on that. So, and now we're just going to add here another float. So it's going to be fire, height, opacity. And this one going to be in here too. And also we're going to be a slider between 0 and 1. So if we do this one here and we do a multiply, now we can control the opacity. Well, we put it here. So now if we just put it here and the opacity, we do a little bit more and save it. So now we actually have a fire. So let's try it out and see how it works. So in the scene, this is the fire. So where is it? House fire. So here is the one. So fire speed. Actually, we do the opacity first. So here we have the fire and we have the height like nothing or maximum. So you see it's happening stuff here. So we need to address that right away. And the reason is the alpha is below 0 or above 1. And the remap, that's kind of making that a little bit weird. So if we just do a saturate and plug it in after the remap, and so after the remap, we have saturate like this. So now this saturate makes sure it's always between 0 and 1. And if we save it, and yeah, we can just clean it up a little bit. And save it. And now, if we look in the scene, it looks so much better. And we have the amplitude to do it higher. And we have the noise offset. And we have the fire speed. And we're actually going to add a noise size to this, because then we can have different flame size. So in the next tutorial, we're going to continue and make this look awesome. So thank you so much for watching and see you in the next tutorial.